What's going on, guys? Brian Daniels here, and this is the domain GPCE. And on this video, I'm going to talk about how I feel that there are gaming YouTube channels out there who are just very biased when it comes to the way in which they cover video games. Before I get into that, I need you to do me a solid and hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to us here on the domain GPC, which stands for Gaming, Pop Culture, and Entertainment. If you love video games, conventions, movie reviews, and more, please be sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube. Anyway, the reason why I'm making this video is because a game came out recently called Hellblade 2. You might have heard of it. It came out, Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga, and it's a game that has been polarized. And it's a game that is exclusive to Xbox. It's, well, not necessarily like exclusive. You can play it on PC as well, right? But either way, it's a game, it's an Xbox game. And it is a game that actually has been doing really well. It's got some pretty good review scores lately. And I'm going to talk about how there are just some YouTubers out there, and one in particular I'm going to focus on, named DreamcastGuy, who do what a lot of these other YouTube channels do, which is not fairly cover games and have a bias when they cover them. So without further ado, let's take a look here. So you're probably wondering, who's DreamcastGuy, right? Well, that's a great question. I'm gonna pull it up. So this is his review of Grand Theft Auto Trilogy Definitive Edition. Now, you guys know this game did really poor. It was not that great. Lots of glitches. It was a terrible port to try to port it to next gen consoles that came out on the PS5 and Xbox. And the big red flag is that DreamcastGuy gave this game a 9. A 9 out of 10. Now, he does a review scoring system to 10. I personally don't really care for review scores because scores are subjective. What a 7 to you could be a 9 to me. Numbers, when it comes to reviewing, kind of don't really mean a whole lot to me. And I want to know if a game is good or not, which is why we review games on here with that very means. Is it good? We just let you know if a game is good or not. Is it worth playing? Because at the end of the day, that's probably what you want to know. But DreamcastGuy reviewed GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition, a 9 out of 10. And if you're not familiar with DreamcastGuy, he's been around for quite a long time. I've subscribed to him for many years. He got about 240,000 subscribers, so he's got a lot of people, got a big following. However, this was a big red flag because he recently reviewed Hellblade 2, just came out this past week, and he gave it a 4 out of 10. And the thing about this game is that it is a artistic style game, and me personally, I don't think this game is a 10. I don't even think this game is a 9. If I had to score it, I'd probably give it an 8. Honestly, I don't think it's a masterpiece of a game. I will say that graphically, the game is a gorgeous game. I think it looks great. It's a beautiful game. I think it plays well. It does its job. I didn't really find many glitches or bugs, which is pretty astounding in and of itself, considering nowadays in the video game industry, a lot of these games come out and they're littered with bugs. They're littered with glitches. They don't even have the right FPS. Sometimes the frame rate's buggy and glitchy and they don't work. And if you know, you know, basically. And this is one of those games that it works. It's solid and it's fun. I enjoyed playing it. And yeah, is the combat like stellar? No, it's not. Are the puzzles in depth and unique like that you would find in, say, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom? No, they're not. However, it's pretty much more of the same thing that we got in the first Hellblade game, Senua's Sacrifice, which, by the way, was not an Xbox exclusive. It actually was exclusive to PlayStation and PC when it first released, which, by the way, DreamcastGuy gave it a 9.5 out of 10. I kind of think this is a cool way, by the way, to review the sword. Anyway, but he gave it a 9.5 out of 10, a 9.5 out of 10. Now you're probably wondering what happened here. Why did DreamcastGuy give the game such a different score between the first game and this new game? Well, to me personally, I feel it's because the game is on Xbox. For those who don't know, DreamcastGuy is notorious for trashing on Xbox. He does that thing that a lot of people tend to do that are fanboys, which I can't stand fanboyism. And I'm sure when this video comes out, people are going to call me an Xbox fanboy. And I'm not. And by the way, if you want to know for a fact that I'm not, I challenge you to check out our latest podcast episode on our podcast we do called The Next Level, episode 75, where we address and talk about the state of the video game industry, where I take a big fat shit on all three major companies, on Sony, Microsoft, and yeah, I kind of take a dump on Nintendo a little bit too. So go check that out. Link will be in the description below where you can go and listen to that as well. It's available on all major podcast platforms. So before you call me a fanboy, you might want to listen to that too. Because I dunk on Microsoft too, and I have before because they deserve it. However, in this instance, it's pretty telling when a YouTuber doesn't fairly score games. So you're probably wondering, well, has he given any bad scores to any Sony games? Well, matter of fact, he kind of did. He there was a game that came out last year called Forspoken. It was a PlayStation 5 exclusive. And it also did not do very well at all. Matter of fact, I think that game is doing worse. That game did worse than Hellblade 2. Than Hellblade 2 did. And here in a second, I will show you the numbers for Hellblade 2, or I'm sorry, for Hellblade 2 on Metacritic and for Forspoken on Metacritic as well. That way you can see that, yeah, Forspoken just did not do very well at all. And so you're probably wondering, well, what did he give? What did he give Forspoken? Well, I'm going to show you what he gave Forspoken, or at least attempt to show you what he gave Forspoken, because he gave it a 6. Now look at this. So this is the end of Dreamcast Guy's video, his brutally honest review of Forspoken. And you can't really see the number because if we start to play this video, you'll notice as he says, "Hey, I think we need to check out the score." He pulls up the overlay. Now he does tell you what the score is, but I find this to be a little I don't know, convenient that he decides to put his end video overlay up. You know, that's that overlay you see on almost every YouTube video that kind of show you suggested videos, the next video you should watch from the same person's channel. I didn't notice this until literally right before I started filming this video that he puts up the number here and you literally cannot see it at all. At all. And there he is telling you, check out my channel, blah blah blah. So yeah, and I'll show you in the mini player too. You guys should be able to see this, but uh, oh, I guess not. Never mind. It won't let me do that. So you guys can see though it is a 6. He says it's a 6. He gave it a 6. And if you even see in the little thing there, me hovering over on the progress bar, it's a 6. And he does this. Now, the other thing that Dreamcast Guy reviewed recently was a PlayStation 5 game that recently came out about a month ago called Stellar Blade. It's a game that I've thoroughly enjoyed. I love this game. I've had a blast playing it. I haven't finished it yet. But Dreamcast Guy took on the people hating on the game. Now, for those who don't know, the game has had some hate because of some costumes and people claiming censorship. It's a bunch of silly, silly stuff, honestly. So, Dreamcast Guy put out a video saying that the haters, Stellar Blade proves haters wrong. He put this all out a month ago. Now, let me show you the thumbnail because this is my kind of my big concrete evidence, if you will, that Dreamcast Guy is not fair in his review scores and they're pretty biased. Is the thumbnail in this video? You're gonna see it right now. If you notice, it shows that he gave it the thumbnail shows an 82, and that's Metacritic, and a 7 from IGN, and yet he claims that Stellar Blade proves the haters wrong and that the review scores are great. So he's saying that the review scores in this game are great. An 82 and a 7, which, hey, those are pretty good review scores. Now, he didn't say that same thing when we talked about, what was it, Starfield, which, by the way, we'll talk about Starfield here in a little bit, but he didn't talk about that when it came to talking about Starfield, which I believe Starfield ended up scoring better, or Starfield was on Metacritic. Let's find out. Metacritic, it is sitting at, yeah, here you go. So Starfield right now is sitting at an 83 right now on Metacritic. It's at an 83. He says Stellar Blade was sitting at an 82. Yeah, 82. And yeah, he says Starfield was a terrible game. Starfield sucks. Starfield's a bad game. And then yet Starfield has a higher Metacritic rating than Stellar Blade. And I'll show you again. You guys can see it right here. It's 83. That's the critic score, which is what he shows in this. He shows a critic score. Now, bumping back over to Senua's Saga, it's sitting at an 81. And even has a 7.5 in the user score, the user reviews. But he says review scores are great for Stellar Blade because Stellar Blade's a PlayStation exclusive currently. I'm just calling out the unbiased. I'm calling out the bias here. It's very obvious. So then, let's take a look at the IGN score because he's got the IGN score listed here too, which is a 7. So what's the IGN score for Senua's Saga? An 8. So this game has scored better on IGN. Take that how you will. But IGN shows it's an 8. The Metacritic is an 81. DreamcastGuy puts out a video about Stellar Blade saying that it's a actually good game, that the review scores are great, and that it proves the haters wrong. So I want to know, DreamcastGuy, where is this same energy? Where is this same energy for Hellblade 2, a game that you gave a 4, the sequel to, which has pretty much the same combat, pretty much the same gameplay. However, the only difference is this game looks graphically amazing. A game that if I had to put a score on it, I would also agree it's an 8, having played it. Spent quite a bit of time with it. So this is just an example, in my opinion, of completely biased reviewing. There are other channels out there that do the same thing, but I'm focusing on DreamcastGuy because he is notorious for doing this. He does this a lot. Let's take a look at Forspoken's Metacritic. It looks bad too. It's awful. Look at this. Forspoken's Metacritic. It's a 64. And he gave Forspoken a 6. Which, by the way, he covered up with his... You can't make this stuff up. All I'm saying is I'm tired of YouTube channels that do not fairly and unbiased reviews and that don't do unbiased reviews. I want unbiased reviews. That's all I want. I would imagine that's all everybody wants, is to be able to tune into their favorite YouTuber and have a YouTuber give an unbiased review of a game. That doesn't mean that if they have history with the game, like say for instance like Madden, and it always has microtransactions, and then you're coming in to a game expecting the same BS microtransaction. That is understandable. However, I find it very hard to believe that you give one game a 9.5 and then you give the second game, which is essentially the first game that you claim did everything right. How does it do everything wrong and drop almost double the points? Actually, over double the points. from a score. I don't understand that. Help me understand that. If you are looking for a YouTube channel that does unbiased video game reviews, that is not fanboys, but we're just fans of the video game industry, please subscribe to us once again here on the domain. GPCE stands for Gaming Pop Culture Entertainment. That's what we do here. We love all video games. We are fair and balanced when it comes to reviewing games and talking about the video game industry. By the way, once again, please go listen to our brand new episode of The Next Level, episode 75, where we address the current state of the video game industry. I will leave a link to that in the bottom of the description for you to go listen on various platforms. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts. How do you feel about DreamcastGuy? How do you feel about biased video game YouTube channels who review video games and that are biased on them? Fanboys, if you will, trying to cover other platforms when you know they're not as much of a fan of those platforms. Let me know all this in the bottom in the comments. We do read the comments. We do respond to your comments, and we appreciate them all the same. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.